Hello, welcome. Please take your seat. Please take your seat. I hope you can see the screen. That is the purpose of this video. Okay, so today I was in math class, alright, thinking about math. Don't get me wrong, I was thinking about it. But I was also thinking about the best movie ever to be created. That's not an exaggeration, right? I am thinking about Night at the Museum 2 and how the sequel is better than its predecessor, right? And but you're like, sequels are never better than the original. I'm gonna prove you wrong right here and right now. So here is my slideshow of the defense of Night at the Museum 2 Battle of the Smithsonian. So, why does it say cons? I thought I was building an argument for the movie. Well, before you can build an argument, you gotta criticize the work so that the argument is stronger in a whole. Alright? The more holes I poke into this movie, the more the argument builds. Okay? I hope you get that. So the plot. The plot of Smithsonian, so Night Museum 2, the plot of it is basically a guy is trying to steal this amulet thing again, which is basically the first movie. Big sigh. Because, like, why would you make another movie if it's just gonna be about the same thing? And I get there's different characters and stuff, but I just don't know why they couldn't have thought of a better plot than, hey, let's try and steal the same thing that was trying to be stolen in number one. It's just, why would you make a movie then? It's regurgitated. It's a regurgitated plot, alright? So that's my first criticism of, the best movie ever. So, in Night Museum 2, Robin Williams as Teddy Roosevelt comes really nowhere in the movie except for when he's like a head bust in like the DC museum. But I want more Robin Williams because he is the comedic genius behind this all, and the fact that he is not in this upsets me to my very core. I want more Teddy Roosevelt. Okay, I don't care. Why? So my next point is, why is Amy Adams in this? Okay, hear me out. So at the end of the first movie, we have Rebecca. She's over here. She's the OG. She's like the love interest of Larry, the cable guy. No, Larry, the security guy. Is that his name? Ben Stiller, whatever his name was. You can tell I did a lot of research for this. So, Rebecca and Larry were an item, alright? And her name is Rebecca. That's pretty cool. But at the start of the second movie, we're like not giving any context of where she went. She like disappeared, went to Mandyville or whatever. Really just got up and left. I mean, there is like a 3-year difference, but any explanation would be a cool explanation because that girl shipped them. And then we get Amy Adams, Amelia Earhart. Like, what? What is the purpose? I'm sorry. That's a McDonald's picture. But, and then she just disappears at the end. And it's like, I get she's just a function of the plot, so we have love interest for Larry, but there's no connection there. She just goes up in your airplane and leaves to the end. And yes, I'm not explaining the plot well, but I'm assuming that you already seen the movie and memorize it mostly, like me. Okay. So, but why did she just leave at the end? I get it. She's like he just falls in love with like a wax figurine. Nothing wrong with that, but she just kind of disappears at the end. There's no real connection. So I don't like Amy Adams in this movie, although she did a good job in The Muppets, one of my other favorite movies. I don't like how they did Jedediah dirty in this movie, because he just is stuck in an hourglass most of it. But like one of the good things about Night at the Museum is the relationship between Jedediah and Spartacus or whatever, the Trojan warrior guy. Like they have like good banter, good back and forth. That's like erased if you put Jedediah in a magnifying glass or hourglass. So like you're ruining one of like the main things that made 19th Museum so good in the first place was those little banter back and forth, those little guys. So just sticking them in there. Why? So, in summary, Night at the Museum, um, it was really cool, and they just tried to replicate that with Night at the Museum 2. Unfortunately, replicate, they sure did, which basically means they ripped off the first one. And just, like, even with the Dum Dum Womp Gum Gum guy, they did the Boom Boom Firepower. Of course, Boom Boom Firepower is better, but it's just, like, they just tried to make everything so similar in the movies that, why have a second one? So, you're like wondering, after me just criticizing all this, why do I think Night at the Museum is better? Well, here are the pros. Rotten Tomato. If you look at the first movie, we're only looking at the critic scores, alright? The critic scores, because the audience scores, they don't matter, alright? We don't care about the audience. We care about those who actually watch movies for a living. And that's what this tomato meter does for us. So, Night at the Museum, 43%. Not the best rating, but compared to the Night at the Museum Battle of Smithsonian, it is so blown out of the water by 1%. Okay, you're like, 1%, that's not big. No, but it is, because look at this, 138 reviews versus 169 reviews for the second one. Okay, that is a difference of 31 reviews. Look at that math. But 31 reviews, and that has a bigger tomato meter than this, okay? So even just critically acclaimed, Night at the Museum Battle of Smithsonian has done better. So villains. So we have some cool guys in this movie. And they're way cooler than Night at the Museum villains, which is just like the other security guards. So we have Gregor. I don't remember his name. It's blanking at the moment. He's just like, I know he's in like the upcoming the Kingsman movie, so it's like the same guy, if you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Napoleon Dynamite, which they categorize him as short, so that funny. Then we have Al Capone, which is like he is black and white in this movie, which is way cooler than, you know, a janitor again or a security guard. And then we have Phoebe's boyfriend from Friends, but he talks funny in this movie as the main guy. So those are pretty cool villains, I gotta say. Historically accurate. No, they're not, but they're better than the first one. So I also like Custer in this movie, which is played by Bill Hader. General Custer, the guy from Battle of Little Bigfoot, maybe, where he just gets himself and his whole army killed, and I like how they play with that. Regardless of what actually happened, it is pretty funny how they were just memeing him the whole time and memeing history, and because he was like scared to go into battle, but then he does, and it's funny. And then we got these Einstein guys, which I find like hilarious with the little numbers, because I remember as a child memorizing those little numbers for like half the movie so I could play along, because those Einstein guys, you know, they're really cool. The CGI in this movie is impeccable. I love CGI, guys. You don't know my love for CGI. So these bird half-man guys, ooh, like their little mouths that squawk, ooh, and this guy who falls into a portal that looks like a different universe, but really doesn't, because it's just horrible CGI. Oh, the best. It's the best. I love CGI, guys. And not only is this movie really good, it also has this like freaking rad Wii game. And I remember playing around with that little monkey, and he like is in a spacesuit. And look at this guy. You can go on top of Saturn, right? And then we have, they kind of are scary if you look at them for a bit. But this Night Museum have its own video game? Probably, but it's not as good as the 2 because this is my final point, and it's the best point. The location of Night at the Museum 2 is way more better than Night at the Museum because we are in DC. We have like 3 separate museums going on. Night at the Museum, we just stayed in one. We just like walked around one for an hour and a half. This, we walk around 3 for an hour and a half, and we get Abe Lincoln, pick him up. We get some good graphics here of him breaking and entering. We get the squirrel from the White House. Come on. We got this octopus guy. I like the painting scene where they go in paintings and it's all black and white. That's actually pretty cool. And, the thinking guy. I'm thinking. Yeah, but I enjoyed a lot of this because of the location. It's very great. So, you're asking, I've been talking about 1 and 2 a lot, but what is the third Night Museum? For me, it's too new, alright? It's too new. It was like 5 years into the future of Night Museum 2, and I only look at the classics, alright? I cannot, I've seen Night Museum 3 once, and it was in theaters when it first came out, and the only thing I remember is Hugh Jackman. So I wasn't considering 3 in this conversation, alright? So we're gonna shelf that because obviously 2 is the best. I've already proven it. So, and this is why 2 is the best. We also get the Jonas Brothers as those creepy Cupid characters, which I kind of hate, but it's iconic in a way. So, that's my argument. I hope you agree, and if you don't, then maybe go and watch it. That I was gonna say something dumb. Anyways, goodbye.